I don't know about the rest of you, but the two Christinas came up here and just scared the crap out of me today. I mean, 70% of this, 80% of that, 30% of the other thing. We should all either be dead or at least have no feet. I was sitting there thinking, should I take my shoes off? Are my toes okay? I mean, am I going to make it through this whole day? They really did scare us, but I think they scared us for a good reason. You know, we don't ever feel our hearts. You know, we're not feeling any of it. You know, it's working. It's a muscle that works all the time automatically. But I'm not here to talk about hearts. That's not my thing. I'm a fitness trainer. I've been doing it for 32 years. I've been doing it out here in LA for 23. Most of my clients are celebrity types. And when I say celebrities, some of them are celebrities like Dr. Economides here, who's an actual client. I'm also here to tell you that exercise is a very, very poor way to lose weight. Think about what I'm saying. I make my entire living off of telling people to exercise. Yet I'm walking into a room of well over 200 people and telling you that it's a very poor way to lose weight. Case in point, you could go to any marathon, and after the 5 guys from Kenya win the race, or come in the top 5, for the next 3 hours, you'll see a bunch of lumbering Americans coming across the finish line. You have to ask yourself, those people didn't start training just a week before to do a marathon. They had been training for months, some of them years to get there, and they all started with one goal. I'm going to get back in shape, and I'm going to lose weight. Well, one thing happened. They got their hearts into incredible shape because they were able to go 26.2 miles. The hearts were in unbelievable shape. Their skeletal muscular system were unbelievable shape. But still, they crossed the finish line fat. How did that happen? Well, that's what I just said. Exercise is a very, very poor way to lose weight. So you have to ask yourself, what's the right way to lose weight? Well, I could tell you, but I do things better when I tell those stories. Now, this story is a true story, and I don't like to talk at people. I like to talk with people. So you can nod and say yes if this has happened to you, but has anyone ever gone out and bought a family bag of some type of chips? It could be Lay's, it could be, Ruffles, it could be Doritos, right? And the reason we buy the family pack is because it's economical. You get more for less money. But we tell ourselves in the store, well, I'm not going to eat it all at once. I'm just going to eat some and then put it away and then pull it out later and eat some more. And if we did that, that would be okay. But that's not what happens, right? I've been sitting there in my life with and by the way, in case you're wondering, a bag of Doritos I checked right before I came up on stage. That's why I have these cards. 17 ounces of corn chips and a family pack of Doritos. Now, you could sit there and you could tell yourself, well, I'm just going to have a few and I'll put it away. But as soon as that first chip gets in your mouth and your saliva glands start working and you swallow that chip, all sorts of hormones get released. Insulin, leptin, and ghrelin, just to name 3. And those hormones just conspire to make you eat another, and another, and another, until the whole bag is gone, and you're sitting there ripping the bag open so that you can lick out the inside. And then you feel disgusted, and you tell yourself, I'll never do this again. Until you go back to Smart and Final and buy another family bag of potato chips. The reason that happens is because of hormones. There's a lot of women in here. And I'm talking to the guys right now. Guys, some of these women, when they hit 45 and 50, they had something called hot flashes. Right? Anyone familiar with those things? I know the love of my life throws the covers off every night, and then she throws them back on. And she throws them off again. She can't control those hormones. We cannot control ghrelin, which makes us feel hungry. It makes us feel cavernous. It makes us want more chips. We can't control insulin. It's got to be released to cover the sugar that we put into our bodies. It's what's regulating our bodies. And we can't control leptin. Do you know every major drug company have spent millions and millions of dollars buying and selling the same patent to try to come up with a drug to control leptin? Because if they can control leptin, they can control weight. And if they can control weight, it's almost like creating a chocolate bar that every time you ate it, you got thinner. But every one of those companies have sold that patent to the next company down the road for $40, $50, $60 million. Because they can't figure out how to control hormones. It's one of those God things. So just like you can't control a hot flash, you cannot control the rest of your hormones. And that's what we're trying to do when we eat that first chip. We're trying to control something that's way out of our control. Can't do it. So the best way to not eat those chips is to not eat those chips. Then you don't have to go run 1,000,000 miles in a marathon to lose weight. You can lose weight without ever doing any exercise. So I guess you're saying, so Vin, you're telling me exercise is not good for me. That's not what I'm saying at all. You need to exercise so that you can have a nice, clean heart, like Dr. Economides was showing us up here, right? You need to have a strong heart. You don't want to have those thick walls. You want things to work right. It's a use it or lose it proposition. It's the way our bodies work. We've all had a relative of someone that they collect old cars. If you let an old car sit in the barn, the car will eventually deteriorate. The shocks will start to slump, the springs will start to slump, the tires will go flat, all the seals in the engine will dry up, and if you try to crank that car up, the car is not going to start, or if you get it to start, all the seals will blow out because they're all dry rotted, and the car will just fall apart right there. That's the same thing that happens if you spend a life sitting on your butt and then try to get up when you're 65 years old and say, yeah, I'm going to start running. I'm going to start riding a bike. I want to look like the ad on television where the people just took the get a second chance sex pill, and then you see the couple running down the street, and you see the guy fixing up an old Mustang, and they have the perfect life. But it doesn't happen that way. You have to start slowly, and you have to continue slowly. There's no reason to ever have to go overdo exercise. Walking does just about everything you need, right? You can jog. Jogging is fine. I think the second Christina that was up here was talking about exercise, and she walked into not an aerobics class. What did you walk into? Spinning class. I hate spinning classes, and I love to ride bikes because you always have some over-energetic person telling you to go way too hard. I'm telling you, don't listen to those people. Just go at your own pace. Because if you're doing stuff in zone 2, which is about 60% of your heart rate, you're doing your heart a lot of good. When you start getting up into the 75, 85, 90% of your heart rate, if you're not ready for that, you're going to end up in this hospital. When I wrote Fitness Confidential, it went out to the top 22 book companies. All the big book companies. It went to Simon & Schuster, it went to HarperCollins, Bantam Books, all those fabulous companies we've known about for years. And every one of those companies turned it down. Well, not everyone. 2 of them came back and said they wanted to do the book if I would just change the whole book. They liked my voice and they liked what I had to say. They just didn't want me to say what I was saying. So they wanted me to be a character in my book, but they wanted me to say something else. They wanted me to tell the same lie that's in every other fitness book. As a matter of fact, a couple of these companies came back to me and said that if anyone released my book, they would sue me for telling the truth. They want to keep spreading this same jargon that we've been hearing over and over and over and over again. They want us to spread this lie of calorie in, calorie out, exercise more, you'll get in shape, you'll lose the weight, don't eat so many calories. And I'm here to tell you that the best way to lose weight It doesn't really matter how much you eat unless you're a total glutton. The best way to lose weight, and I'm spoiling the book for everyone who bought it, by the way. Stay away from sugars as much as you can, and stay away from grains. Now, I know we saw up here in the second talk, we saw the Mediterranean diet. And it says that the Mediterranean diet, they tell you to eat a lot of grains. I've been to the Mediterranean. They're not eating grains. They're eating fish, they're eating meat, they're eating pork, they're eating fruits, and they're eating vegetables. When I was a kid, grains used to be something on the side, and I'm Italian. The pasta used to be a thing on the side. I mean, my grandmother used to call it, we serve in this country pasta puttanesca, which in Italian means the whore's pasta. It's supposed to be meant as a cheap meal for people who can't afford a real meal. It's not meant to be a main course like we do in America, where you have a whole plate of pasta, or you go somewhere and you have a whole plate of rice, or a whole plate of any kind of grain. Grain was supposed to be some kind of filler for people who couldn't afford to eat enough meat and vegetables. So I don't want to take up too much time, because now I'm talking about food. I know you guys are hungry. I know I'm hungry. I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank you guys for coming here, because let's face it, the only reason you guys woke up so early this morning is because you care about your health. And I care about, well, actually, I don't care about your health. I care about my health. But I care about selling books, so I decided to come out here. I want to thank everybody for coming, and this has been great, and I feel like I've learned a lot. You guys have a great lunch. Thank you.